Hi guys. Today, I'm going to recap a Korean movie released in 2017, called Forgotten. A man finds out a life-changing secret after his brother's kidnapping. Nothing is as it seems, and all of his life might be just a bitter lie. Can he handle the truth? A timid 21-years-old man, Jin, is moving to his new home with his family. He has a dependable older brother named Yoo, who is clever, sporty, and yet outgoing, making him popular among his friends and loved by his family. But he isn't as athletic as he used to be due to a limp on his left leg after getting into a car accident years ago. Nevertheless, he still tries to be as active as he can during the day. The calendar shows the year 1997, a new fresh start for their family in their new home. Jin will be sharing a room with Yoo temporarily due to one of the rooms is still being used by the old house owner to store his stuff. When Jin is alone with one of the movers that helped them tidy up their new house, the mover asks how old he is, and his brother with a puzzled face. Jin laughs it out as people often say that they don't have similar faces despite being siblings. Seeing the two talk, Yoo quickly tells the mover that his mom needs help in the kitchen as Jin and Yoo then continue to tidy up their room. At night, under heavy rain, they feast as a family and celebrate their new home. Their father reminds the two of them to not open the locked room that is currently still being used by the old house owner to store his stuff temporarily. Until the old owner empties the room, Jin and Yoo will have to sleep in the same room. The two of them seem to be okay with it since that means they can be with each other more. As they enjoy the dinner, Jin suddenly hears a strange heavy sound from the locked room upstairs. But the others ignore it and tell Jin that it might be just the thunder from the heavy rain outside. The father then tells Jin to take his daily antidepressant medicine that he takes due to his condition. On their first night in their new room, Yoo goes straight to bed while Jin chooses to enjoy some music first on his earphone. Suddenly, he hears the same strange noise from the locked room and decides to check it out. When he is about to open the locked door, Yoo appears and wonders what Jin is doing. He tells Yoo about the strange sound, and they listen carefully from outside the door but hear nothing. Jin still insists on the sound, making Yoo worried. Being a dependable older brother, Yoo takes Jin outside to get some fresh air and cool his mind down. On a cold rainy night, they talk together to clear Jin's mind. Noticing what his brother is trying to do, Jin expresses his gratitude to his dependable older brother because he is always there to help him. In the middle of their conversation, Yoo answers a phone call from their father and decides to head back first, leaving Jin alone to enjoy music on his earphone for a while. Not long after that, Jin decides to head back too. On the way back, he unexpectedly witnesses a group of unknown men kidnapping his brother. They force Yoo into a van and drive away. Jin tries to do his best, but they have already left, so he tries so hard to remember the van's license plate and then rushes back home to notify his parents about this. As he frantically tells them about the kidnapping, he suddenly collapses and loses consciousness. After a couple of days, Jin still hasn't regained consciousness. He keeps getting a dream that feels so real while unconscious, making him feel that it is his own memory. Days go by, he finally wakes up. His parents are glad to see it, but they can't say the same about Yoo as he is still missing. To find out more about the kidnapping, the detectives question Jin about what happened that night to find out more about the kidnapping. Jin explains in detail exactly what he saw in detail and gives the detective the license plate number of the black van. But for some reason, the detectives tell him that such a van doesn't exist. This makes Jin frustrated, and he gets into an emotional breakdown. Seeing it, they decide to end the conversation. The only thing they can do now is to wait for the kidnapper to contact them in case they ask for ransom money. 2 weeks have passed, and they have made no progress in finding Yoo. Jin starts to have the same strange dream over and over again that still feels so real and familiar. Furthermore, he also gets nightmares about the locked room. Out of nowhere, Yoo returns by himself on the 19th day since his disappearance. The family is blissful, although Yoo has no recollection of what happened during the kidnapping. The doctor who examines him thinks that it might be because Yoo's memory is repressed by the traumatic experience. The family doesn't care much as long as Yoo is safe with them now. After that, their life goes on. But after some time, Jin notices a small change in Yoo's behavior. Yoo always goes out late at night, which at first Jin ignores because when he is awake in the morning, Yoo is already back in the room. One day, Jin accidentally skipped his daily antidepressant medicine because it fell under the kitchen counter. When he tries to reach the medicine under the counter, Yoo comes and invites him to eat together, making Jin forget about the medicine. They enjoy the meal as Jin asks Yoo why he always heads out late at night. But Yoo denies he ever goes outside at night and tells Jin that it might be just his dream. After Yoo finished his meal, he was about to continue his activity and headed out. But then Jin notices another strange change in Yoo. He is limping on his right leg, which should be his left leg that is hurt. For some reason, Yoo just laughs it out and heads out. Feeling strange, Jin decides to go back to his room and study for the college entrance exam. After having dinner with the family at night, he goes back to his study and falls asleep on his desk. Yoo suddenly comes close to Jin and cynically plays the mechanical pen near Jin's face before he heads out at night as usual. But unknown to him, Jin is actually awake and decides to follow him. He follows you in a taxi to a nearby market, where Jin sees you meeting with two thugs. Upon closer look, Jin realizes that those two thugs were the detectives who questioned him weeks ago about Yu's kidnapping. When Jin tries to get closer, he is stopped by those thugs. Jin tries his best to run away as far as he can, but suddenly, Yu appears out of nowhere and sedates him. When Jin regains consciousness, he is back at the desk where he studied before. When he sees Yu, he panics and locks himself in the bathroom. Seeing Jin panic, Yu tries to calm him down. He says whatever makes Jin panic is only his hallucination or dream, which might be caused by his skipped medicine. The chase, the taxi, and anything else are not real. When Jin has calmed down, he opens the door and apologizes for making a scene. When he sits back at his desk, he finds the pencil lead that was supposed to be dropped by Yu last night. At that moment, he remembers that he hasn't told you that he had followed him in a taxi, as he mentioned earlier. With this and other abnormalities in Yu's behavior, he is now sure that the one who came back after the kidnapping is not his real older brother. In a calm manner, he constructs a plan to tail Yu and tells his mom about it. His mom is not sure at first but then tries to follow Jin's plan. At night, Jin has another nightmare about the locked room, so he goes down to the kitchen to get some water. Unexpectedly, he hears his mom talking over the phone with a person that he thinks is Yu. His mom tells Yu that Jin is starting to get suspicious of him. Unfortunately, the creak sound of the floor as Jin walks closer alerts her. Thinking quickly, Jin runs outside to hide. The mother is convinced that it was Jin, then goes upstairs to check his room. Jin then quickly climbs up over the outer wall under the heavy rain. He manages to tuck himself under the blanket before the mother gets there. But even a blind rat can see that Jin is soaking wet with the room's window wide open. The mother then calls the father to let him know that their cover has been blown. Feeling confused about what is going on, Jin jumps out of the windows despite him being on the second floor and meets the father in front of the house's gate. The father tries to convince him that nothing is wrong and to trust his own family, but Jin is sure now that not only Yu is strange, but something is wrong with the whole family. So he rushes to the nearest police station while being chased by the thugs. At a nearby police station, he proceeds to explain the situation to the police. But for some reason, the police officers are quite puzzled by Jin's story. When Jin tells his age for the report, the police become more confused and tell him to look into a mirror. In the mirror's reflection, he sees an older man. This makes him realize that he's not as young as he thought. Furthermore, the calendar in the police station shows the year 2017, not 1997. Confused and angry, he rushes back home and goes straight to the most suspicious room from the start, the locked room. Inside it, there are two mannequins on the floor with fake blood. The family suddenly shows up, so Jin demands an explanation. Yu, who pretends to be his older brother, explains that a murder at the house happened 20 years ago on 20th of December 1997. The police couldn't solve the case where a mother and her daughter were stabbed to death. Years later, the victim's family is still trying to find the culprit. After some thorough investigation, they were finally able to determine Jin as the murderer. Their team then kidnaps Jin to obtain a confession. However, even after heavy tortures, Jin doesn't have any memory of being the killer. They believe that, for some reason, Jin's memory of that night is repressed deep inside his brain. In the end, they decide to try a hypnosis method to make Jin remember. The team recreates Jin's last happy memory and recreates the events that led to that unfortunate night. By doing that, they hope that Jin will remember what happened and confess. Things were going as planned until the police arrested the young man, Yu, for fraud. This explains the abduction that Jin witnessed. The sound from the locked room was the man's team reconstructing the scene. Furthermore, to keep Jin under the facade, they give Jin a special medicine that he takes daily, believing that it is an antidepressant medicine that he needs. Hearing the explanation, Jin reassures them that he never killed anyone. Still puzzled and lost, Jin throws himself out of the van to run away. They chase him but crash the van onto a tree. Seeing it, Jin tries to exploit the situation and runs away, but a passing truck hits him when he is distracted. Suddenly he starts to remember the past that he has forgotten. During a flashback in a car, Jin was with his real family. But suddenly, they got into an accident. Both of his parents died and left his older brother in critical condition in the ICU. Months after the accident, his older brother's condition didn't improve. The doctor said to Jin that his brother needed surgery soon. But being all alone now and only a high school graduate in a national economic crisis, he can't afford the surgery. Jin tried so hard to get a job to pay for the surgery when an anonymous user approached him in an internet forum. That person offered him a large sum of money in exchange for him to assassinate someone. In dire need of money, Jin hesitantly accepted the job. The anonymous user provided an address and instructions on how to enter the house. The target is a woman, but the anonymous user warned Jin to leave her two children unharmed. Jin did as he instructed and managed to get inside the house. But Jin suddenly had second thoughts about the whole killing thing. However, the woman appeared and saw him holding a knife. In reflex, she screamed. Jin tried to calm her down, which she abided by. But her daughter suddenly appears and runs in panic. In a panic, Jin chased her and accidentally stabbed her. Seeing it, the mother screamed, making Jin panic and stabbed her too. Just before he left the house, a little boy appeared. Jin told him to go back to bed and wait for his mom by counting to 110. What shocked Jin more was when he saw a family portrait in the house and realized that the family was his brother's doctor's family. To receive payment, Jin met up with the anonymous user. As he suspected, it was his brother's doctor. The doctor needed his wife's life insurance money due to the national economic crisis. He did this all for his children. But the doctor was furious when he found out that Jin accidentally killed his daughter too. He tried to throw Jin from the rooftop, but instead, he slipped and fell to his death during the struggle. The flashback is over. Jin wakes up on a hospital bed. Yu, the one who pretended to be his older brother, is waiting by his bedside. He is about to inject poison into Jin's IV to end him, but then Jin finally confesses to murder. Jin tells him every single detail of what he just remembered. As Jin tells the story, Yu reveals to Jin that he is actually the little boy on that night. He suffers a lot in an orphanage and can't even enjoy the insurance money as his devious relatives took all the money. Yu asks Jin who was the one who instructed him to kill his mother. Yu already suspected his own father because he registered a bunch of insurance under his mother just before her death. Regretting his action, Jin tries to lie, telling him that it was his own doing. By doing that, he hopes that it brings a little bit of peace to Yu. But Yu is able to read past Jin's lies. He walks away with the bitter truth that he tried so hard to deny despite all the evidence. Feeling that his life goal has been achieved despite the result, Yu decides to jump out of the hospital window. Jin also feels heavily burdened by the dark fact he had forgotten and then injects the poison that Yu brought into his own IV. What do you think of this movie? Sometimes the truth can be more painful than a lie. Write your comments below. Subscribe to watch more videos like this, turn on notifications, and leave a like and comment to help the channel. Thank you for watching, and see you next time.